Hmm. Good morning. How you doing this morning? Got to go ahead and post a little something. This morning. It says early bird gets the worm. What if you're trying to catch a bird? Guess you gotta stick your worm out there, huh? Gotta get up quite early. Y'all, telling y'all, it's been the last 2 years been real trying, boy. I'm telling you right now. It's been something else, man. It's been something else. So hope that y'all miss me. Good. Let's see what's the news popping. News is popping. What's it dropping, y'all? Let's see. Shall we? Let's see. Oh, there it is. 23 minutes past the hour, right? Of 7 o'clock. I seen her do that. Simone Biles do that somersault thing. She was doing her floor routine, and when she did that tumble thing and then landed, and she just slid across the thing, and she went back up there. That was good. I was like, I ain't ever seen nobody do that. It definitely was a lot of chalk and stuff all on the mat, so it's kind of easy to see what had went on, what if anything wrong. But I tell you, she did land and stick the landing, but it just slid back, and she went back up to the spot where you would just it's intended for you to do your land. She landed and stuck it. She just then she went back up there, threw her hands up. Then come back and say that something was wrong with her ankle, foot, or something. Passed it up. Couldn't tell. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Yeah, man. I think I got an idea of what doesn't happen this way with this funky stimulus, but the way they did it now, this Hutchinson, they opted out for some kind of relief this way. It's like, well, where the fuck do I get my stimulus from? You know, it's government, it's a executive order. Shit, you done gave everybody and their mama this money. They opted out for it. But the way they've been doing people down this way is they gave them the check, right? Started out paying them, but they trying to keep from giving to us. Like, why should that matter so much to you, and the government's giving it up? You see what I'm talking about? It don't have nothing to do with you, especially when it comes to the people that file single, right? So they pretty much just kind of like, I don't know, did everybody's shit, man. It's crazy. Like, they didn't, you know, it's half-assed, but there's a lawsuit against their ass, man. You know what I mean? They got a lawsuit against it, like, well, you know, lost your goddamn mind. Who the fuck are you to tell me I can't get whatever I got coming from the government? You crazy son of a bitch. and you know, and it seems like it's just a way for them to stop, you know, it from happening. It's like, and then go through it. Oh well, you can. I guess if they rule it and say, oh shit, you know, you ain't no way for you to stop it. You just want to make a complaint talking about people won't go to work. How fucking dare you? People was on their verge to do, you know, get employment or whatever. Then all of a sudden this goddamn COVID jumped up. Then you put a curfew across the whole land. All right, then you sit here for the longest, a year or so, where you can't do shit. You helped everybody, and you always use the same old fucking format about the children. They got to have it. Okay. Well, let me help you out. Same as the children is the same as people that's working and wasn't working. Everybody's been affected by the shit whenever you get done. And the way I see it, let me call motherfuckers out. You made the biggest money off of the damn children. You know. Now, that's funny. That's another form of embezzlement in the big way. See, you got a thing called blue collar crime and white collar crimes. You know, that's the biggest crime right there, white collar crime ever. Wouldn't you say? Fuck you get off. Telling somebody they can't work their taxes or whatever, man. Who the fuck are you? Now you really got a motherfucker nerve. It's like, how fucking dare you? They didn't want to force people. They figure they gonna give you a goddamn. What do they give? They're gonna give you a motherfucking a scratch off to win if you go and take the vaccines. Like, are you serious? You'd have done better if you told people you was gonna give them the extra stimulus and sent it to them and put it in their goddamn hand, and then say, well, okay, cash out or whatever, so they didn't have to wait. When you gave them the goddamn shot, they took it to the grave if they died. You see what I mean? What the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's the people. Then try to put people on a guilt trip because they don't want the shit. They don't want to take the shit. If you're not feeling, you know, in no kind of way, no different than it was in the first place, well, what the fuck they gonna take the damn vaccine for? The shit only makes you ill. Then you gotta wait a grace period before you can take a second shot. And I'm gonna tell you what they did down here. Fuck they did down here now. They ain't got the good shit. They got this fucking, the shit that killed some fucking body. This Moderna, whatever that shit is. And here's the biggest killer right here, the Johnson and Johnson. Fuck no, that shit killed somebody straight up. 2 or 3 different people. That would make why you want to throw that shit down here. Throw that shit in the trash, because if it was a problem, then why the fuck are you trying to give it to somebody like as if? You know what I mean? It's like shit. You want to, you killing the people, or you intend to fucking put up a defense against some shit that nobody sat and put it there themselves. Some other asshole put it there. You know? And all this other bullshit they got going on and trying to disguise it. And then you figure you're going to put people on a goddamn guilt trip about a damn vaccine and wearing masks and shit. We didn't put the shit here. Y'all did some kind of bullshit. You had some kind of fucking war or some bullshit right in our eyes. And I'm going to tell you where the you see lies. What's that bastard name? Ging Jing or whatever his fucking name is. John Jing or whatever his fucking name is over here in the motherfucking Pacific. Trump goes on there and asks him, what is the fuck is you doing with these rockets? Now he was being impeached. Right? No sooner than he became vindicated, came up with this damn vaccine. I mean, COVID-19. Like, what the fuck, man? Y'all is doing too much, man. Yeah, that's what they did. Damn. How come you ain't cuffed him up already? What the fuck? Anywho, man. Yeah. Yeah, that's been bottom line, you see. Why is it taking y'all so long to just cuff him up? Y'all just doing a lot of putting knee in his back, got the guns out or whatever, and he did something to him. He motherfucker had big old knots on his fucking head. Francine Martinez. They got the dude bloody as fuck on the curb. He was sitting on the curb. One of the guys ran off. Yeah. So, yeah, people want some sort of reparation. You didn't ask for that shit. Y'all, you just ended up here being affected. Y'all trying any kind of way to make somebody feel guilty. Get on be on some kind of guilt trip because they don't, they don't want to. They don't want to get out and catch the stupid shit. If you say it's out there, and you done told everybody to get in the house, why is it find so hard for you to say, okay, I understand you're paranoid, you don't want to. Okay, it's okay. Everybody been traumatized shit. The family took a big chunk of their family out, and usually whatever that it is, this shit is, it attacks definitely people with pre-existing conditions, right? Because they're already fighting some shit. Then you give them some more of that bullshit. When it comes to the visit, you just gonna assume they got the shit, and then you make them stay back there for how many ever days, a month or so, full of shit. Yeah. So yeah, we still sitting here. Trying to make the conditions as comfortable as again it is. Nothing nice, but the person is trying to maintain, keep even their mental, you dig what I'm saying? So don't blame it on people. Y'all did something. And you just said it was the COVID or whatever. So where it said then they came with this PPP. I don't even know what the fuck that stands for. PPP. A lot of people made up a whole bunch of bullshit and they just Zoom checks out there. And I'm like, wow. I guess you would have to go back to the place, refile all over again to get it. Because if you ain't got it, it's like the computer, like you go to all the different shit, man, and still nobody answers the phone. Nobody doing nothing. So what is that the deal? The people, they sitting on their funky ass too. They ain't doing that. Can't tell. like, that's okay. Just keep on. They get so conditioned in either trying to bully somebody around or fuck with somebody, but keep on bugging. Then you just fall off and you take some. Since they wanted the problem, you just take it, knock the fuck out of them. Motherfucker, yeah. What? Yeah. Knock all your fucking brains out. Yeah, you were just over there trying to kill me or whatever, wasn't you? Motherfucker. That's where it's getting at, man. You know what I mean? It's really what it's getting to. Like, go your ass. Don't even say nothing, just go your ass. Go for the rest of the world, you ain't stuck. No nothing. Take yourself from going on somewhere, especially with negative vibes. Just take that shit and go ahead on something. And this Olympics, they all pumped up. Ain't nobody there but the people that really just need to be there. You know what I mean? It ain't flooded like all people is following the Olympics and all. You got them people and their people. But ain't nobody quick to go buy no goddamn rat salmon. Like they know, oh sure, you got onions and pickles, put it on now. It's almost like, shit, that's what ain't nobody interested in going and don't give a damn if it is Olympics. They really don't give a damn. She don't look too good right there, even with that mask on. She wasn't looking like that before. I wonder if they fucked around and gave her some of that vaccine, because the way they showing her right there, look, she don't look the same as she did before. Like as she's together. She's like, I ain't feeling none of this shit. She really looks under the weather. You can tell by her eyes. She got the mask on. Let me run this back and look at it again. Yeah, this man fucked this shit all the way up, so it don't matter what you talking about. Yeah, I don't know what you talking about. bringing new challenges and mid-Olympics. Excuse me. Now it's talking about mental health. Dominique Dawes comes to talk about mental health. Seriously, looking somewhere over there at this camera. She ain't looking like she happy about nothing. I see that. Okay. I have to check. Dominique Dawes, yeah. She ran it for as long as she was in it. She run things, man. She's real cold blooded. Out of sight, time out. She's still that woman, She's still that woman. I'll be checking her out on some of the stuff she be sharing personally with her. She has a gym or whatever, where she starts out with little bitty kids. And she goes, stretching and carrying them. She's like, oh, here and there, you know what I mean? Doing some of those stretches and stuff. She's like, like she ain't been there in a long while. Which is the truth. You sound more, but she still got the elements, can still do a flip, can still do them tumbles or whatever. You know exactly how it goes. But not every day, and it's just all that's on your mind all the time to be perfect. Me personally, I ain't looking for her to perform like that's like when Jordan reached his he peaked or whatever. Then he come back out of retirement. Now he wasn't gonna do all that flying through the air and all that magical shit he was doing before. No. And then I always forget the lady's name, but she was cold-blooded back in the 80s with the ice skating and things like that. Cold-blooded. I watched a movie they did a long time ago, back in the 90s something, about her. She was going through some things. She actually fell, well, I won't say fell, but they were in a relationship, but the guy wasn't exactly straight. Let's just keep that a stack. And, they worked together and they could go out there and perform and everything. Perfect. And she decided to try to drown and kill all that stuff in a bottle of whiskey, but it just turned into a crutch or whatever, turned into an addiction. Alcoholism. But I didn't give up on her neither, And a person that's been in there and doing all this stuff, they might need a little sit down and talk about it and get over it because they put their whole life toward that from the beginning. So, yeah, it's not really not everything. I can say that now. I'm going to put it like this. Yeah, it was everything, but there was never a moment that when I went through my injury, which is this arm, right? Now, I think I talked about this before, whether you can see it or not, it's a scar, and it goes all the way around here. See, all of that was laying down here on my forearm like a pork chop. And it was right when everything's like when you're cooking. When you're cooking, baking a cake, put it that way. And years ago, when we was a kid, when we was a little kid, they had this thing about, not bumping the stove or whatever. Because if you bump the stove or whatever, it would make the cake collapse in or something like that. I guess it comes from baking powder or whatever it is. It's supposed to make it rise. It wasn't strong enough or something. But anywho, it's like that. Got to that part, man. When I decided to kick into third gear, then this happened. I'm like, but that's it, man. I was happy to have my life because I could have died. I was too many miles away from home or anything like that. I could have. If I would have been deceased back in 1986 had I not thought to just walk down 24th Street, on which they call, everybody's known in Omaha, Nebraska as the Deuce, because there used to be people out there kicking it up and down street all the time, and I was just lucky that somebody was out kicking, and the man and his wife, a woman at the time, come over there. They was on a slab there, I was out there kicking it, I told them to call an ambulance. There was a phone booth down right there on that slab, right? And I came from a phone booth, but I needed to get to somebody right quick so that I could get that assistance, man. And yeah, man. I walked about two blocks. Actually, it was like 3 blocks to where these people were, man. And he took his belt off and wrapped it around my arm, and then there was a lot of pressure, and then he went to the phone and called the ambulance, and the lady just kept on holding my hand and talking to me and telling me to stay with me and asked me what happened. And I'm talking to this woman, man, and she just stayed with me, man, and got on the meat wagon, the rescue squad with me, and we went on down there to the nearest hospital. And man, I laid up on this thing, then I was built enough, like I say, I was building up on to increase to even bigger. And man, let me tell you something. It deflated all that, and this one arm just got skinny. It was like having a broke leg. And I had that situation with my leg. It was my ankle. Excuse me. Twisted my ankle, sparring with a wrestling buddy on the way from school showing her ass for these girls. Like actually they lived in his neighborhood. And went to the school that was over in their neighborhood, and so we were just sparring because he was a sparring partner at the gym, wrestling. And he pulled this move, and I had pulled this move to throw him, to pivot and throw him. But we was in this grass, and this grass was excuse me. This grass was thick, but the guy cut his grass that way, and it was like, man, I mean, just real thick and pretty, right? And here we was up in his yard, and I messed around. And I went to do this turn. I threw him, but my foot stayed in one spot, and it didn't pivot like it was supposed to. And you could just feel the whole shit just go the wrong way. And I'm like, oh man, push this off, man. Oh man, next thing you know, that leg, man, that ankle swelled up so big. I'm watching TV, man. I done took aspirin, man. I'm still rocking and rubbing on this damn leg until I just couldn't take it no more. I went to the doctor, man, and he put it in the cast. Your ankle was broke, man. So put it in the cast, and in 8 weeks or whatever, it starts healing back. That cast was raggedy because I went back trying to do something, but it's always you lose all the little. I wouldn't say all the strength. But whatever gain you have, just by not doing nothing, it gets smaller than the other. So I had to go through that, man, So I know about injuries and different things when it happens. But for me personally, I could have went on the deep end, oh my leg, or oh my arm, and cry about all the time. But no, to give you an explanation like what went wrong. No, I didn't turn to no goddamn faggot and all that old bullshit. I was known all right enough, you know what I mean? But I was known to the fact, oh, so-and-so, like it hits the news. Simone Biles, she just twisted her ankle. Nobody even knew that I had that injury. Otherwise, I'd have been on the football field. I would have went and got that goddamn jersey, you know what I mean? But, I was playing the how the relationship came, this woman's pregnant, it's supposed to be yours and all this stuff, And then you end up, trying to go to this immediate situation that's asked for now, versus whatever it is you was doing, personally. So, it wasn't their fault, or her fault, my fault, because I knew better. So it took my ass in the first place, and I didn't look back and follow my dream. I would have never been in that. I don't think I've been in that position. I probably would have made it, But I do understand it went through my mind long before then. If you don't make it, if you go and you try out, and you go through all this and all that, and you go there and you still never make it, how you gonna feel? Well, I'm not gonna jump off no bridge, and I ain't gonna do myself because I didn't make it. Cause it's designed for some of it to be bigger, faster, and all that kind of stuff, and smart enough to know how to, whatever it is, wrestling or football. You know, once you become known, then they're always trying to build something for competition. So you gotta always stay prepared to deal with it, because that's what competition is, right? So that's what knocked me out of the game. And again, ain't nobody turning no damn gay wire, none of that shit. A motherfucker got hurt, injured, you know, outside of the field, outside of sport, you know, which was personal. And nobody, the only people around me knew, you know. I didn't run around, oh, I hurt my arm, none of that shit. Oh, my arm, I never cried at all about it. You know, I was more thankful, you know, because you want to use your hand, what you was born capable of using, you know how to use it. You know, to maintain, to continue on, because what happens is, once there's an injury, whatever that is, you keep on trying to do whatever it is you was doing just before the fatality. You know, you gonna know definitely what's wrong the next day, trust me, because aches and pains are coming. So, and that just means you're healing, but it don't feel like, you know, it don't feel what's ideal. You know, it's pain, ache, and everything like that. So, yeah, that's what happened there. And, you know, that was in 1986. Wow, 1986, man. Because you have it in you, you want to compete, you want to be competitive. That's what you chose to do, you know, in the sport. And then all of a sudden, you can't do it, you ain't capable of doing it. And if you think, you know, I'm just coming up with some bullshit, I'm going to tell you what you do. You take a hammer, or you take a big fat ass knife. I suggest you take a hammer. Break your hand. Your hand right there, your wrist, right there across your hand, then across your fingers. Yeah, bust it up. Now, what you're gonna want to do is you want to get up bright and early and go try out for some sport or something. Let's say basketball. You need both your hands for that, don't you? All right. Your hand be all on the cast and everything else. You ain't gonna do nothing but go sit down. Trust me. So that's what I had to do. Go sit down. I went through a mild one, but I didn't get so depressed until I let the depression control my life. You know. I ain't gonna do that. But I did feel it. I did feel something there. Like that. Just when you're getting ready to take everything in the second gear, you fuck around and have this klutzy situation. And, well, yeah, but some people they get there. Yeah, I handled it different, but I could have also went on the deep end. So yeah, so anybody that's in sports or anything like that, that's just as wild as the schooling Benson High School. Now, there was two of them. There's this female that was a cheerleader there, and she was half black and half white. You know, she's pretty as motherfucker, man. Built like just a big old bunny rabbit, man. She's pretty, right? All right, so and you can see that she was black, and you can see that she was white. Now, the average, now you know, ain't nobody don't be. They say you be having trouble. That's only because you go over there and you let them call you a nigga because you half white and half black. That would never bother me. You go to hell, they get slapped in the mall. I ain't to the point where I'm hating myself. And why did you? Well, how did you forsake the situation? Why couldn't you just make me either white, all the way white, with no black and nigger? No, become inferior. Well, there was a guy. The boy did real good. He was a basketball star or whatever. And let's see, back, I believe it's in the 80s and the 90s, somewhere in betwixt tried to commit, when the boy succeeded, he committed suicide. He's the letterman and everything, you know. He just one day just decided to finish it. Nobody knows he had everything right there sitting. What could have been the problem? This girl was real cute. I can't say that it was that was her situation where somebody was coming by. You know how you go down through there and you be trying to figure what could it be? You know, I don't think she had no problem being who she was. Her father's a black man and her mother's a white woman. So what? You know, you hear anybody on that is on some primitive shit any goddamn. But yeah, no need to go in there. But I can relate to it. I understand that we have a problem. Just take it hard. Well, there go Miss Dominique Dawes. How you doing there? I don't know. Jada Pinkett changed up a few things about herself. You think she could have played that role? She did a documentary. The documentary or movie or whatever, the Dominique Dawes story. She might be just a little taller than Dominique, I don't know. They look like they're about the same size and everything. But she got the color and the mentality pretty much the same age, so I don't know. One day she'll get that bread. You gonna get that bread? Dominique gonna have that Dominique Dawes story. Gonna get that bread. But it's your world. You do it when you get ready. A lot of people, they be like, come on, let's tell this story. Yeah, what is it worth though? For you to just tell it versus this and that. You gotta have something. You're like, oh, I don't know. You write the book and see what comes out, then you're worth this much. Well, shit, you're 100 goddamn %. Some people got that money, man, and that shit didn't last no time. Burned up quick. But she's not finished yet. I guess you get to be waiting for it, though. Trust me. She got what? 3 little babies? really big. What y'all do with uh she just done got pretty and she don't care nothing about gymnastics, you know. As they call it, a flying squirrel. Uh, Look at old soccer. Well, what's your problem, big? The soccer come in there and tearing that ass up. I forget the little woman's name. Yeah, they say the flying squirrel. The flying squirrel. Uh, she just got away from the thing altogether. You ain't heard nothing for a while from her. She whipped her hair up and put her a little bit of makeup on. She out of there. She don't want no more parts of the damn after sport. Gabby. Gabby, yeah. That's her name, Gabby. Gabrielle. Gabrielle. Yeah. There's a lot of other athletes, I'm quite sure they went through something too. Similar that could have been physical and stuff. Other than some civil matter or something, who knows. They have to tell their story, but it's been a lot. It's coming up. There's been a lot of athletes that was exceptional, beyond exceptional. They didn't. It didn't pan out like they wanted it neither. Never heard. Not too much more like uh, Terrence Bud Crawford. He's come from that gladiator. Come from that, and he's actually made it. Another one was Keith Jones. He made it, and he made it as far as to I used to look for him all the time, try to keep up with him, but it was hard to because when they ain't that interested in you or something's not quite right, maybe physical, whatever, cause they tear your ass up, let me tell you something. It takes some work, man. A lot of mind over matter. They won't make you into a free agent right away. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, you do what you want, but you gotta go to these teams and try out. Ain't nobody trying to really put a dollar on it. But anyhow, he became a free agent. The last, I kept asking some of the other homeboys around there that knows him and some of his family. His family told me, his brother told me when I was sitting getting a haircut, and his brother told me that, oh yeah, he's doing well. He's doing well. He's here. He gets paid and everything. But he was playing for it was St. Louis Rams at the time. This is about 1995, 96. And he says that he's with the Rams and they made him play when he was injured. Some kind of shit where they made him play. He had to, a mentor for him to play or something. They pulled him off the bench. He got messed. It prolonged the injury. It made it a little bit more worse. It's part of it, you know what I mean? But yeah, I seen him. He played. They gave him they put him in that. I didn't know that part, and then that explains what I was looking at. That's wild. They put him in the last 15 seconds, well under 1 minute. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Just one or two plays, and that was it. Hike the ball, But yeah, I was thinking about back on when we was playing, when we was we started out Little League, and then he went to high school, and he made a name for himself, Central High School. The rest of us ended up going to Berg. I went to Northwest. We should have went right on up to damn Central and got with him. We was all playing on the team anyway. Should have went right on up there with him and played with him. I thought so myself. I could have, but usually I was a long whoop like that any goddamn way. Either you coming or you ain't. I'm going. You know what I mean? Up to play. But I went out to Northwest, so it was too late to double back and go back to Central and then try to, it was too late, So it was a little funky ass way from the beginning. They didn't let me play because I'm a sophomore and I'm trying to come in. I ain't trying to wait. I gotta have this jersey. I want this fucking jersey for all 4 years. You dig? That's my career, and that's what I was. But I was like, okay, you know what? I'll switch over and go to wrestling. And that's all right. I'm gonna climb when I get there, cause anybody put me on the mat with, I'm gonna grab their ass, man, and I'm gonna try to break their neck like a gorilla. I'm gonna break their fucking neck. And what it turned out, I didn't get on varsity. I didn't get on the varsity team, the wrestling team for Northwest High School, because the position that I could have made one of the others. He didn't want that, to be on the seniors, to be on, what is it called? They was trying to they was trying to put me like, this old, yeah, we have this little whatever. Man, I want the real shit. I ain't fucking around. This is my career. I want off the flip. I got to get in the shit, man. Know what I mean? So I'm a sophomore, and I'm wrestling junior varsity. It's still varsity, right? Man, they sure is trying to slow me down, man. I'm ready to go, man. Let me go, you know what I mean? So when they dogged me out about the football and wouldn't let me on there, I went to wrestling. And when I went to wrestling, I snatched the motherfucker up, slam him, do all kind of crazy shit to him, pin him all up, man. Shit. I meant that. I'm gonna hurt everybody they put on the mat. I mean that shit, man. I'm trying to hurt him. The coach like, oh, calm down. Don't act the fool. Fuck you, man. I didn't say that to him where he could hear it, but I definitely said, fuck you, man. My intention was come. I'm gonna do just that. I'm gonna fuck everybody up so you understand me. I try to be nice, a nice nigga, a nice nigga to come in and apply and show it that way. Oh no, I gotta get fucking nasty. So that's the way I came in there, breaking motherfuckers' necks, and I leaving they be on the neck. My neck, my back or what? Cause I take it out, intentionally take them. Can't do nothing with him. I just grabbed the motherfucker up. His legs be all up in the air. You grab him by his suit or grab him a certain way and just take the motherfucker and slam him on his fucking neck. Or take him, pull a move and come up behind him and lift him all the way up off so they ain't got nothing but that mat to hang on to. Or try to hang back on to me, but, and I just power drive their ass right into the mat. Boom! Fuck them up and some kind of shit. Then, once I get the win, get the pin, I get on up, motherfucker trying to hang on to me. I'm shaking him off like a gorilla shaking. I shake the motherfucker out. And get on off and going over there, man, put back on my sweat clothes, man, and sit over there and watch the rest of the match, man. Fuck you talking about? I came in to take care of business, and I was beating seasoned wrestlers, man. They was took state and all kind of shit. I'm beating these motherfuckers. I'm serious. I meant it because I meant that shit. Motherfucker reach out there, shake your hand, you shake your hand and you go into the little stance or whatever, waiting for him to blow the whistle and then it's on. Whatever. And where I learned everything that I knew was from the Exploradors. That was the wrestling team that from football that I went to, Joe Edmonds, because Coach Dunbar, I was up there like a Shrek. Everybody left, how you a junkie for the shit. You love it, you come to every practice, you there, but it's like do something else. Yeah, I ain't got but some shorties. I ain't got nothing but rabbits. Most of everybody else, they gone now. Like, all right. So he said, look, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do for you. And I don't know, him and Joe got together sometime where he said, you try wrestling? You ever wrestled before? No. You want to try? I said, sure, coach. I'll try. It ain't football, no, but yeah, I'll try. And so I went to wrestling, and what came up, please come on to practice. Have Joe come up here and talk to you tomorrow at practice. So we went through the practice, ran our laps, did the calisthenics, ran a couple plays and everything, and then he called practice off, at the end of it, and then he said, okay, and then next thing you know, I'm starting to talk. He introduced Joe to me, and me to Joe, and he said, yeah, okay. So Coach Dunbar went on from there, and then I talked to Joe, and he was like, okay, yeah, well, come on down to the gym, which was down in Farnell in the pavilion. So I'm okay, yeah, I can. I went down there and went to the gym. When I got there, a bunch of boys, a lot of them I knew them already. And I got in the gym and learned before, but upstairs, what was wild was damn. At that time, but I don't know what happened to them because they didn't stay there long. Now upstairs, they had the boxing gym for CW. I was like, damn, ain't that something? I come over here to wrestle. Right upstairs in the pavilion, they got the boxing ring and everything. That's the gym. I'm like, oh shit. So they gathered up the ring and everything. I guess we within that season looked around, and they had took the ring and everything up. I'm like, oh man, I ain't get a chance to take a look and see what was going on in there, but I saw them in there. You know what I mean? And they was doing the whatever, and so hitting the bag and this and that. And we was doing what we was supposed to do with Joe. Joe's taking us and run us around the pond, all the way around the lake and all that kind of stuff, man. And so you didn't really have time enough to sit there and gawk and see what they doing, because we was down in the bottom. And while I was there, he bought, I don't know, two more Mr. Bills. It was a little one and a big one, right? Mr. Bill is the throw dummies, big old throw dummies, like a bag, big ass bag. And that's how you practice, and it's weighted enough for you got to hold on to it. You got to pick it up. You got to maneuver it. You got to do a lot of stuff with it, right? They had a little one for the little guy and a bigger one for the bigger guys. Well, at the same time, he ended up getting this one that's on the wall. It's got this apparatus in its back, and it just suspends off the wall like you're wrestling, and you throw all kinds of moves. And he said, Joe told us, he said it's brand new. He had it, but it wasn't there when I started. What about it? Within a month, week or so, a month, I think. Then he got this, and it was on this wall. And you throw all kinds of moves. He said, I want y'all to rip that off the wall. That's what I want you to do, rip it off the wall. And he was serious. He was dead serious. I want you, this is Mr. Bill on the wall, and I want you to rip it off the wall. And you throw all kinds of moves and all kinds of stuff, and it had the stiff springs. Let me tell you something. That thing eventually, right today, I bet you it's still on that wall. This was around about 1979. I guarantee you, 1979. 1980, something like that, man. Do all kind of moves. And you try to rip it off the wall. You come this way with it. Do some move and then you shoot up under there, cow catcher. Do another move and try to a 2-in-1 or whatnot. Or you got two of his arms in one, and then you just turn and twist like an alligator when he gets you. He does a death roll. Well, that's what the 2-in-1 is. You grab the arm, you grab him behind the head, And that's another thing too. You make a move from there, all kind of combinations. But the first thing he taught us was the T step. Then went from the T step. Well, first thing was a stance. I'll take that back. It was a stance and the way you stance is where your weight and everything is equal. You ain't too much weight on one side or the other. Then it was this T step. And then you shoot. Then it was another one where then the cow catch. You know, like the bull come with his horns out like this here, you just catch the horns a certain way. You either go right where he's going, but you control it the other way, this way. Or you control it and move around and all kinds of stuff that you learn, but when you didn't know nothing like I did when you first started, those are the basic moves when you first start. Eventually you get to go in there and you discover this move called the guillotine. That's when you cold-blooded for real. Or that's when you cold-blooded. But yeah, my very first wrestling match, I have to laugh about it because I wrestled heavyweight and I had this big old tall white dude, and I knew him. I was like, all this time I didn't know nothing about you, and he always was quiet and reading a book, some kind of novel of some sort. You know what's crazy is because these nerds or whatever, even if it's a female, they read their books a lot. Let me tell you something. They just as nasty as you, just as human as you are. Because they be reading them stories and stuff that's in there, and the sexuals and this and that and this and that, because that's what they reading. Little old square ass book about so big, about so wide, and they do whatever class, and then they can't wait to get back into this book. They ain't really got shit else to say, no other body, just whatever this book. Now that's how he was, right? Real quiet. But he was tall and he was real quiet. But he wasn't afraid of nobody, and I peeped his demeanor. He wasn't an uppity person neither. But I didn't know that he wrestled. I had no clue. And when we first started, Joe was telling us about Joe Edmonds, Joe, a.k.a. Joe. He tells about the little nerd dude you think he can't wrestle, and you take him for granted or whatever. And he'll be reading one of them little books and up there with the little horn rimmed glasses, and you think he don't know nothing, he just a weenie. And he'll be the one to come down that mat and pin you, stick you, have you count lights, and go right on back up there and go back to reading his book. Well, my first wrestling match, because up at Adams Park, I was the king of the hill. Anybody, it was all kings, Anybody could claim to be a king of the hill, you know what I mean? So he was the king of the hill, I was the king of the hill. And he pinned me right there on my own hill. Brought me up there. And I went through the little basic moves, but I was far too predictable at that time. You know, I went to flying at him this way, and he just kind of caught me a certain way. And I tried to trip him up and fall a certain way, which landed him on his back. We went down on the mat, but then he turned a certain way, and then it was in his favor, and I ended up on my back, and then there I was, humping, trying to sprawl and put my neck all head up and all this kind of stuff, man, trying to keep from getting pinned, and he pinned me less than a minute. I'm gonna tell you that right now. Now, in front of all my little peers and everything else, he beat me there. Like, okay. So this is how this works. Okay. At first, I was, a little bit. Your pride be. So my pride was there, but like, yeah, well, this is your first match. Don't quit. And I was determined to learn how to wrestle and get good at it. And the very next wrestling match that I got to, I kept learning something. I listened to Joe. He could tell me what I was doing and asked me. Then the way I learned and the way he trained was like, you went in, you wrestle, and ask you, what did you think of that? What did you think you did wrong? What did you think you could have done to keep from being pinned or whatever, right? And then he listened to your story. That's how he getting to know how you think and what's going on with you, for real. And then he'll go on and start training you and showing you how to do things, right? You just got to do this and that. Your basic. This is all your tools in your box. You'll know when to use them and when not to. That's what he teach you. And then teach you different techniques people use and how you can counter these different things. You ain't gonna learn it if you decide like, fuck this, I ain't coming back. He pinned me. He pinned me. No. And the way I feel about it, that's okay. One day one of these good days, boy, soon. In competition, since you compare and you wrestle me, I'll probably see you again. It was freestyle. I'll see you again, and you're gonna have hell to pay, right? So, I'll wrestle a season or two with him. And like I said, the very next match, I took third. I'm looking at these trophies up on the table, and I'm wanting that first place. We got fourth or fifth, something like that, depending on how many. You got the little, you got a medal. So I wanted one of them trophies, and I believe I got third place for the very second wrestling match that I had ever had in this career of wrestling. And then from that point on, I ain't get beat no more. Not like that. And you ain't getting no heat put on you. I wouldn't take, by the time I got to high school, junior or high school. Ooh, excuse me now. Sophomore, I wasn't taking no prison. Well, y'all, I think I'll talk y'all, man. We done talked for an hour or so here. I'll be back with some more listen and learn. Play some real figure dummy. Yeah, some more listen and learn with the bass guitar. So y'all just hold your horse. I'll be back with a little bit of something.